Hi everyone, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us today, September 8th, a Tuesday. We're doing a live Q&A as always on TikTok, immigration lawyer John, and Tuesdays on Instagram, the JQK Law Firm Instagram page. And the video here where you see me is on YouTube, JQK Law Firm. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you get the latest updates. On Wednesdays, I do go live on YouTube, maybe doing that more often, so definitely check it out. Hi Roham on Instagram. So as people are trickling in, we're gonna start taking your questions, Q&A kind of format, to just talk about general educational stuff related to immigration. I can't provide case-specific advice. You need to consult with a lawyer in private about that. But with all the confusion that happens in immigration, I'm sure, as always, this session really helps out a lot of people. So I wanna be there and help you out with that. So having said that, let's get it started. Alright, so one of the first things I always want to mention is that if you're thinking about doing a marriage or fiance type case, make sure the first thing that you do is you download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's a special ebook I've written that breaks down the process, and it's free. You can download it at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Hi Nadia, good to see you. Again, that's www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Definitely type in that www and get the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It really breaks down the whole situation that you need to know, and then from there you could take the next steps into hiring an attorney, because then you know what's up and you have a good understanding of the system beforehand. You could ask better questions and see if the attorney knows what they're talking about, and it's a reliable source. All right, on Instagram, Abhij asks, hi, I filed an asylum last month. I changed address using form AR11. Will it be enough, or do I need to do anything else? No, for asylum, you have to notify the office as well where you filed the asylum case. So for example, if you're in Los Angeles, you contact, they were in Anaheim, I think they moved. I don't do asylum case anymore, but you should give a notice to them as well. It might not be recorded. It probably won't be if you don't contact the asylum office. The procedures are probably online, but it's good that you did the AR11, but that's not enough. Send a letter to the local office with a copy of your receipt and new all that information, so they know you're changing addresses as well, so it's on their records too. That's a very sensitive thing they should definitely do so you don't miss your interview. All right, on TikTok, he says, hello, heard that marriage green card interviews are waived. True for conditional relative interview in Mumbai? No, it's not true at all. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Most times they won't. So that's that. And so yeah, John asks, is it possible to correct errors in the I-485 during green card interview? Yeah, happens frequently. Just let them know. If you know an error exists, contact USCIS by sending them a letter, calling them, and going through the online website and making a correction there. So one of those should be enough, but because I've had experience with the system with that one not working, and as an attorney I got to always be conservative. So when we find an error on the I-485 or any other application, I send a letter to the service center. I go online and try to use the online system to, and if possible I call them as well, and then when I go to the interview, in writing I give a piece of paper with the correction as well as orally correcting it. So there's 5 different ways to fix it, and so because there's 5 different ways, hopefully 4 of them fail, one of them will work. And a lot of times all 4 or 5 of them still fail. So you want to have this so you have backup to show that you did the right thing and the error was not on your part. So if later on, for example, you need to fix an error, a typo on a green card, they don't charge you the fee for that. They say, okay, it was our error, you told us 5 times, okay, we'll fix it up. And you want to keep track of all that kind of stuff. Nadia has a question. She writes in a Farsi. You got to write in English, but she asks, hi, my husband, 2 years, is waiting for an answer to a visa in Abu Dhabi, Emirates, and has a U.S. citizen child. What should we do? Well, at this point, the embassy in Abu Dhabi is closed because of COVID-19. I'm not sure when it's going to open up, and it's closed for Iranians to go there too. So you just got to wait. I mean, I can't advise you particularly as your case, because it might be a particular waiver situation or some other thing I need to know. So I can't advise you directly. You should just consult with an immigration in private. That's what I'd recommend doing. You might just have to wait. There might be nothing to do, but I can't advise. It's too case specific. Roham asks on Instagram, I'm a U.S. citizen. I just got married in Iran. I bring all translation documents with me. What's the next step? Well, if you want to know the steps, just download the guide. Go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook and download the guide. It breaks down there. And then if you want to schedule a consultation with my office and we could talk about it, do a video consultation with you and your spouse to figure it all out, you should have consulted an immigration attorney before you got married. That would have helped prepare things much better, made your case stronger, but it is what it is. Just download that guide. If you want to schedule a time with me, just email me or schedule a time with an attorney. But what to do next is just a lot of different things. I have a video on this on YouTube. Either it's come out or is just about to come out that does a video of it as well. But you just got to study it and then make a decision what you want to do. One and done asks, my marriage case is stuck for 3 years now. I went to Congress, man, but they're still. Okay, I don't know. I got to see what's going on, why it's taking that long, what kind of case you have. You may need to do a lawsuit for all we know. So these stalls happen. It might be a valid stall because of COVID-19. I don't know. So I need to know more information about your specific case to start. D. Harp asks, is there any other lawsuit going to happen for my spouse of green card holder? What is Trump extends immigration ban? Okay, so if there's any other lawsuits, there's a bunch of lawsuits. If there's new ones and stuff, I don't control people suing some people, so I can't answer that. And what's going to happen is the trial ban going to end on December 13th. I don't know the future, so I can't answer that either, unfortunately. So, you know, just have a private lawyer that's keeping you posted on all this stuff, as much as I could tell you. Abdul Shah says, what application do you file if you haven't married more than 2 years with your spouse? Same application. There's the same I-130. I'm guessing you're talking about a marriage green card case. It's the same thing, so it's not anything different. Shazio asks, hey, how are you? Good. I want to know about my brother's case. His case is still in administrative processing. You have any idea about the timing? Well, with COVID-19 right now, they're kind of semi-shut down in most places, so I don't know about the timing. But if it's taking way too long, like years, for example, even in many months, like more 6 months, you need to talk with a lawyer to maybe file a lawsuit to push the case forward. But it depends on the case. If it's, I don't know if it's a wise idea to sue or not. You might have bad news come out, and I don't know about your brother's background to see what could potentially have caused these administrative processing delays. So you need to talk with a lawyer first to see what the issues are, and then think about filing a lawsuit if that's appropriate. So you got some work ahead of you to figure that out. MK asked, did I hear you say marriage green card reviews are waived? No, someone asked that, and from what I know, from what I hear, most of them aren't. Every once in a while you hear it, that it was waived, but for the most part, they don't waive these kind of cases. Now, they might have started, I don't know, but I highly doubt it. Very rare for these to be waived. I've heard randomly people say it's been waived. I've never seen it happen for any of my cases or anyone I know personally. But just people on YouTube saying this kind of stuff, but I haven't seen it myself, so I can't corroborate it. It might be true, but I can't corroborate it. I had in a group of lawyers that I don't know, it's just a larger group, 1 or 2 people said they've had it waived, but it's rare. I wouldn't rely on it. You just wait for your turn. You're welcome, John. John asks, I got a marriage green card interview in 2 days. Any advice, anything new with COVID? Well, with COVID-19, if you're going to a marriage green card interview, there's just procedures that that'll be in the notice. You know, don't get there too early, bring your own pen, you know, wear a mask, you know, be prepared for the procedures at your local office. With regard to advice, just be prepared. I don't know your individual case to say which individual things are bad, but in my marriage green card guide, I have a 4-page questionnaire of practice questions you can go through with your spouse, and just the whole thing is good too. You have 2 days. Just go download it at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook, and just go to the end where it has the questions. Do a session together. Be prepared for all that kind of stuff. Have your joint documents ready. Review the packet, the guide, and I'll give you some advice on that and just an understanding of what's going on, and that could probably help you out. But just be prepared, and all your documents, all your forms, all the stuff you send, have originals when needed, that kind of stuff. Valeru asks, I applied for a work permit 3 weeks before, but I have not received receipt. When did I get receipt? Okay, so I don't know. Sometimes it takes a while. What you should do, hopefully you sent the right form type in, because they changed the form, but check to see whether your check was been cashed or your credit card's been cashed. That's the first indicator that they started the case. But sometimes it takes a while, and hopefully you didn't send the wrong form, because they did just update on the form I-765 for the work permit. But I don't know if it was your case. First thing to do is just check to see if the check's been cashed, and then wait for receipt. On Instagram, I'm not taking live video Q&A, also, but thank you for doing that. If you like, you just ask your question here, and we can see what we can do. MTJ asks, are they still issuing NTAs for a denied application? Sure. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but yeah. Sid, who asks hello, or says hello to you too as well. Alan asks, can people still get deported during COVID? Our office is open to make that happen. Well, yeah, they can get deported. I mean, the courts are shut down until a few more weeks. But if you had old deportation order, yeah, it could still happen. They haven't stopped deportation or removal. It's probably less because the courts are slowed down, but there's still people who have open orders. They get So it just depends on your case, but yeah, it's possible. Nothing, it hasn't stopped. Shazio asks, thanks, his background is good, are not married either. Yeah, so I don't know, but you just consult a lawyer and then plan out maybe filing a lawsuit to hurry it up, because I'm sure you waited a long time for that to happen. Shay Saru asks, what happens when a petitioner and beneficiary both not working due to COVID-19 would affect the approval of the case? 2019 tax return, we have combined income around $60,000. Well, traditionally, when you file a marriage green card case, which is what I assume you're doing, you file it within the United States, they look at that paperwork you send, the tax returns, pay stubs, and stuff like that. And if it's good enough for them, they schedule the interview. I've never had them ask about continued employment before. But, you know, this is a whole new world. We don't know how strict the officers are going to be, if they're going to ask at the interview if you're still working or not. So you definitely want to have as much savings as possible. Try to find a job, just something that's going to pay, you know, $22,000 or $20,000, depending on your household size, to kind of make up for it. Again, like if they got the case and they haven't RFE'd you for more paperwork about your finances, hopefully you send like pay stubs and stuff, so they'll be happy with it. And your 2019 taxes were good. Hopefully they won't ask, but you know, there's no guarantees. An officer could ask you, well, how are you dealing with COVID-19? Have you lost your job? And that can open up an affidavit support issue. So if possible, just try to get a joint sponsors to back up, try to save some assets and have that documented, and try to find a job, any or all of those, to try to, you know, make up for that fact. And it probably won't be asked, but you got to be safe. You don't want to mess around with it. That's the only really answer there is. Sidhu asks, should we renew our green card through USCIS website online? Well, that's a personal decision if you want to do that. I don't use the online website at all unless it's some sort of emergency. Paper-based is still the way I do it. I don't rely and really trust the online system, and so many, to me, there's glitches, but not necessarily. A lot of people, especially people doing it on their own, use the online system. And I have some lawyers that are, I've seen some lawyers that are starting to use the online system only, but not me. I don't really buy into it, so I'm using paper, and that's what I submit. Now, if you want to use online paper, that's really a personal decision that you want to do, but I don't submit applications by online. You're welcome, Sharisa. Is it Shai Sarus? You're welcome. Ayman asks, my brother applied his wife's visa. They sent us mail. They sent in case in Pakistan. I don't know what your question is, and it's not clear what the sentence is either. You got to rephrase that. Shaizo says, and it's going to be a year this month. So, Shaizo, because COVID-19, the embassy's closed, you know, you might have to wait for them to open to see if they're going to issue it or not. But, you know, talk with the lawyer about filing a lawsuit, you know, and see what they say. Some say file it anyways, no matter what. Even I have one colleague who just files them, even though a COVID situation, just to get the ball rolling. It's up to you. I mean, there's costs associated with that, and you got to spend some money on it. But that's the situation. I don't do lawsuits myself, but you know, just contact some lawyers to help you out. Raz Kia asks, my husband had an interview in Turkey. Any advice? We had their interview. I'm not sure what to tell you after that. If you have a future, I don't know. I discussed it earlier. Just download the ebook, get to learn what they're going for, and maybe schedule a consultation private, where I could have a video consultations prep session with your husband, and just kind of ask questions so they're ready for what's going to happen. So that might be the thing to do. MC says, are they still issuing NTAs for Deny I-539? Sure, why not? John says, you're awesome. Thank you. You're welcome, John. Mana asks, my husband is an asylee. We got married in February, and we filed to update status, but haven't heard back. I don't know, Mana. It's not clear what's going on. Whose status? Your husband, if he's an asylee, he's an asylee. Do you mean you got a green card now, or are you trying to get status based on his marriage? There's a lot of holes in that comment, so it's hard for me to tell what the question is. Sedu asks, I have stayed outside the U.S. for 5 months and 25 days. Does the clock for citizenship start over? Once you hit the 180-day mark, so I don't know if 5 months, so you got to count how many it is. It doesn't start over, but they're going to question whether you're actually residing in the United States. So the burden is on you to prove that you really live here. So then you'd show lease agreements, work agreements, like life here, and to say it was just an exception that you're out for that long, and you can argue it. Once you stay out for more than a year, then that restarts the clock for sure. But if it's between 6 months and a year, or maybe even 4 or 5 months, you know, just being out for 4 or 5 months on a repeated basis, does call into question whether you're actually residing in the United States. And if that happens, then you gotta, you know, argue it, have paperwork to show that it's not the case, and the fact that you're, you know, you're okay, you're really living here, not to question it. Gon Kasari says, how long does it take to get a work permit after a start of marital green card case? 6 months, 2 months, 1 year? I don't know. It just depends on where they get to it. Faisal, hi to you as well. Shifi joined, thank you. Priya asked, my mom is a U.S. citizen, sponsored her brother to come to the United States January 2006. When will they come to the United States? I don't know. It depends on your brother's background and a lot of other factors. So it's not a question. I can't answer timeline questions. MTJ asked, my friend's I-539 was denied last January 2020. Do you think she'll receive an NTA from USS? And it's not whether I think or not, it's if they want to or not. May or may not, you know. They're accumulating all off of presence time, so that's not good. Terry asked, I applied my green card 5 months ago. How long I get my green card asylum? Just check out uscis.gov for their processing times, and what you'll find is it's not reliable because there's no reliable answer to that question of how long. It'll take however long it takes. Let's see. Sidhu asks, is there any interview for green card renewal? Well, if you mean an I-751 removal of conditions, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I-90 rarely, unless there's some serious issues, you have some arrest history or they want to really talk with you. But most of the times, an I-90, like a 10-year green card being renewed, most of the time doesn't have an interview. You should look into just filing for citizenship though. Alan asks, once people get deported, what is the possibility of getting a visa if they have business here? Well, you have to apply for a B1 visa. It's going to get denied, and then you have to request a waiver to overcome that. So the chance of getting waiver, it depends on your case, your background, your need to come to the United States, how much they trust that you're going to go back home, the reason for being deported. For example, if you got deported because you're selling drugs, and that's going to be really hard to come back. But you know, sometimes that waiver works. It's called a Haranka waiver or a 212 waiver, 212D waiver, D3 waiver. There's different names for it. But essentially, you have to. It's a non-immigrant visa waiver. So you can apply for a tourist business visa waiver to come back in, but it's up to the officer and how well your case is prepared and the facts of your case. So the possibility is always say 50-50. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, and that's the only real answer. Where did I go to school? Well, I went to Loyola Law School for law school, and I went to UCLA for university. For that, went to Santa Monica College. Mana asks, are asylees able to travel under some circumstances? Well, if an asylee wants to travel, they have to get a refugee travel document. Now, when you say asylee, is this person who has asylum status or an asylee case pending? So that's a misunderstanding that some people have. Until you get the asylum case approved, you're not an asylee. But if you're going to travel, you need to get a refugee travel document, so that's going to be key. You don't want to use the home country passport, that's problematic. You should consult with an immigration attorney private about this case just to be safe, especially because the administration is being so harsh towards people who have asylum. You don't really want to mess around, just talk with someone in private. Sid who asks, how to prepare for a citizenship interview? Well, you know the form N400, make sure you answer everything properly, study the questions, 100 questions, so you could answer those appropriately, and then make sure, I mean, it depends on what kind of issues you have. If you have arrest history, if you've been outside for too long, that opens up a lot of different issues that could pop up. So those are the things we really got to prepare for. But with regards to how generally prepare, yeah, know the questions, review your form, make sure everything's correct, and be able to answer questions related to it. Mana asks, we applied for a green card for my husband, and we haven't heard back. I don't know. I don't know. I got to know your case to see what's going on. Eamon asks, when they will start immigration interview because they don't let new people inside the United States. Well, that's not true. They do let people in the United States. It depends on what country you're from. It depends on which embassy you have that's open. We have people still coming. I had someone from England come. I have a New Zealand person come. That's not the case. It really depends on your personal case, which embassy you're doing, what kind of case you have. There's a lot of different factors that are involved with that. MTJ asked, my friend from I-539 was denied. Okay, answer that question. But she got married last March, but didn't file AOS yet. I mean, your friend needs to just consult with an attorney. It's not there's a lot going on there. But they should probably start their case sooner, because if you get married after the NTA is issued and you have a court date, it's really hard to make him believe that the marriage was real. So you want to get that process started as soon as possible to avoid getting married after a court date is started. That's really important. But your friend should just consult with the immigration in private. There's too much going on. Khosravi asks, are marital green card process still in process? Yeah, they're still handling it. They just might not do an interview, but they're doing the rest of the work related to it. Ahmad asks, I applied for a B2 extension, but didn't receive a receipt. Can I stay in the United States without receipt? Well, you should have got a receipt, so that's not good. You should contact USCIS. First, see if they cashed a check. That way you'll know if they started the case. And then contact them and say, I didn't receive a receipt for them to send it to you. Because if you don't get a receipt, that means they may not have got your case, which means right now you're just here without status, and you don't want to mess around with that. So definitely call, see what's going on. I don't know, but it seems like things are off. Saruk on Instagram asks, hello, my marriage-based adjustment of status. We use the co-sponsor for Form A-I-64A. What documents I need from them to take to interview? Updated banks, updated tax returns, updated pay stubs, that kind of stuff to make sure everything's still going on well. Nazir asks, hi, good to see you. When mom and dad become U.S. citizens, they have to apply for kids under 12 years old. Maybe. It depends on how they're becoming U.S. citizens. I don't know. Nazir, I need to know exactly what the situation is. So I'd say consult with an immigration in private because you're saying mom got citizenship. Well, why didn't they file when they had green card? So it doesn't make sense to me. I really need to get the facts, and I can't do that here. Aisha says, what's the next step for the National Visa Center? I mean, embassy accept all documents. What will happen next? You just wait for the embassy to open up a time and tell the embassy, and then the embassy sends you a letter saying you're scheduled for an appointment. Then you do a medical checkup and you get all your paperwork together for an interview. But essentially, if the documents are accepted at the National Visa Center stage, then it's just a matter of waiting to get your interview. Who knows when that's going to happen, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Priya Koras asked, the embassy doesn't accept paper documents anymore. They want us to do everything online. Yeah, the embassy does everything online. I'm not sure if you asked earlier, 10-15 minutes ago, about submitting stuff online or paper. I was talking about USCIS, but with the National Visa Center, some offices sometimes want paper, but 99% are online now, so we have to upload that to the CEAC website, CEAC, with the Form DS-260 and all that kind of stuff. Utsav, how long can a green card holder stay outside the U.S.? So I have a lot of videos on this on YouTube. Check it out, JK Law from YouTube. But essentially, you can't stay out too long. For sure not more than a year. That can be problematic. And it depends on what you're asking about. So I have seen people be out for more than a year and come back on green cards and not have issues, but they can't hassle you. But the bigger problem that pops up is for citizenship. So if you're outside for more than 180 days or even multiple trips of 4 or 5 months outside the United States, that could cause them to not believe you're really residing in the United States and cause problems for citizenship. So that's a different issue. Citizenship is one thing, maintaining a green card is another. You never really want to be outside the US for more than 180 days. And you always just want to keep your residence here, so always just brief trips outside. If it goes longer, have a good reason, but always keep your house and work and money and all that kind of stuff in the United States. So you can argue that I didn't really stop my residency, just situations happen that forced me outside. It's very case specific, so I need to see your particular situation and be able to advise on that, why you need to ask that question. So Ren asks, my documents were sent in August 12th. Till now, no receipt received. My attorney said check wasn't cashed. August 12th is September. Oof. I don't know. Maybe they're returning the case. Sometimes about 4 weeks is the longest I've seen it go without them cashing the check. So today's what, the 8th? Maybe give it a couple more days. But if the receipts haven't been cashed, they're probably going to return the file, so your attorney should get it. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes the attorney makes mistakes. Sometimes, most of the time nowadays, it's USCIS making a mistake. Like, I've had it where we signed everything, they returned the case, said we didn't sign the paperwork. And I'm looking at the paperwork, they said it's all signed. Or they say we didn't mark this box that we did. And sometimes, PDF forms, when I print them out, every once in a while, they'll unmark a box that I marked. So when I look at it online, it shows that I marked all the boxes, but when it prints, the boxes will be unmarked. So I had one case that happened to, and unfortunately they returned it, so you missed one of the boxes, and that sucked. But luckily we were able to fix it quickly. But it could be a lot of different things. Maybe they're just taking their good time. A lot of people have been filing because the injunction against the public charge rule is essentially on hold right now. We're having massive amounts of filings to take advantage of that. So the office that accepts it, the lockbox, is super backed up because of that. So if you're doing an adjustment of status case, that could be an issue. I'm not sure what kind of case you were doing, but it could be they're backed up. But if in a couple days, if that check's not cashed, they're probably returning the case. Just check it out, see what happened, and hopefully it's not going to cause status issues. You could just refile it and fix it up. Hopefully, well, I don't know your particular case, but it sucks. It's every time you send in a case, you never know what's going to happen when it gets back. It really sucks. All right, so we got some more questions. Sedu follows up: if we are U.S. citizens, how long can you stay outside the U.S.? There's no time limit for being outside the United States if you're a U.S. citizen, but if you file for a green card for someone like your spouse, you eventually have to be domiciled in the United States, living in the United States, before they'll issue the immigrant visa to that spouse or family member. So being outside and inside has a importance there, but if you're not going to apply for someone's green card, it doesn't matter. You can be outside the U.S. as long as you want. Left Coast says, my mom is 65 years and has a green card, but due to COVID, is USCIS still allowing citizenship process? USCIS never stopped doing the citizenship process, so you submit your case. Now, I'm not sure your mom's English language skills, that could be a problem usually with older parents, that's an issue, that's a sub-issue. But with regards to filing a case and doing it, yeah, USCIS is doing cases. I just had a grandma of a client get her citizenship like 3 weeks ago. Did the interview, did the oath ceremony on the same day, and all worked out. So yeah, it's possible. All right, let's see. Going Khosravi, what is the process for F1 to green card on marital process? When F1 student visa doesn't have a process to get a green card, if you get married, then you got to do a marriage green card case. That depends on the facts of your case. But really, the best thing to do is to download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's a free ebook that's 40 pages or maybe 41 pages, something like that. Go to www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Again, that's www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. Download the ebook. It breaks it down all there in detail for you, and then schedule a consultation to really learn more and take it to the next level. But that's the thing to do for that. All right. John, thanks for following. Lovepreet asks, I'm scared about public charge because my co-signer makes only $35,000 a year. Well, you know, it seems like public charge is on hold right now. We don't really know what's going on because the government's not giving direct advice. Their website doesn't give the forms for doing public charge, so it seems like it is on hold. But USCIS is not issuing a statement to mess with people, essentially. But we'll see. It depends on when you filed your case and stuff. Try to get a job. I mean, that's the best thing I do. We don't really know what's going to happen. We never had a case actually be decided based on this new public charge requirement, the way they're doing it. So no one knows how strict they're going to be on this. It's a big unknown, unfortunately. Soren asks, I-485 and I-765, can you file online? No, I-485 is not online. The I-765, I'm not sure. I don't think it's online yet. But as I mentioned a couple times, people are asking about online stuff. I don't file cases online, so I don't track how that works. I don't have faith in the online system. I don't trust it, so I do everything by paper, and that's that. And you can always just go to USS, check it out, so you don't have to ask me. Go and just check out uss.gov. Aisha asks, I applied for a B2 extension and case is also delivered to USCIS, but I didn't get a receipt. Can I stay? Well, just being delivered to USCIS doesn't mean they got it. So you need to get a receipt. Once you got a receipt, that gives you an authorized period of stay to wait here to see a decision. You can still be taken to immigration court or get an NTA or notice to appear in immigration court. They rarely do that. Maybe if you get like arrest or crime or something like that. But you need to get the receipt. Just having the case go to the post office, having it delivered to USCIS doesn't mean they have the case. Sid, who follows up, do they question if we come back to the United States after a long time? Yeah, they can, yeah. Lefko says, thank you for your question. Thank you for answering my question. You're welcome, Lefko, you're welcome. If you had the time and anyone who had a good question answered, just go to JQK Law, or actually go to Google, type in JQK Law, J as in Jack, Q as in Queen, K as in King Law, and Google will pop up and leave a 5-star review. You don't have to write anything about it, just 5-star. It'll help me out a lot. I really appreciate it, but thank you. Ups asks, my mom went to India last year, November. Does she have to come back in 1 year due to COVID? I prefer not. You know, the reality is people go visit and COVID-19 happens, they're stuck. It's going to be a problem for her citizenship most likely, and when she wants to apply, she could try to explain to USCIS that, you know, it was a special situation. The reality is nobody alive has gone through a pandemic before. So how they're going to deal with it, I mean, they're going to have understanding, but this isn't a situation anyone has experience in. So we have never had a case where someone couldn't come back because of a pandemic. And so how is USCIS going to treat that at the interview stage? No one knows. There's no answer. You would imagine they'd be flexible with it. At the airport, they're going to be really flexible. I've talked to airport people, they'll have understanding. But at the citizenship stage, no one knows. Now at the airport, if your mom, she left in November, and COVID came in March-ish, November, December, January, February, March, if she had a return ticket and showed that she was going to come back but didn't because of that, that would help a lot. But if she didn't have a return ticket, if she was hanging out, it may look bad. So you might just want to buy a ticket, have it, and then cancel it or something like that to show you had the intent to come back. I mean, don't cancel it, don't play a game intentionally to do that, but try to have her come back. But most airports will be okay. You just got to explain the situation and show that, in fact, they do live here and it was because of the circumstances. But with regard to citizenship part, I don't know how they're going to deal with it. Us follows up, she doesn't travel. Can she stay longer with a green card? I mean, it's up to you. It's a risk. There's no guarantees on any of this, but if you're afraid to travel, then that's that. There's a thing called the returning resident visa. If you've been outside for more than a year, you may or may not want to apply for that. It's getting a point where it's just so case specific. You really should consult with an immigration attorney in private to do this, but just try to have your mom come back. Get a ticket for her to come back, but consult with an immigration attorney. Lovepreet asks, I came here on a visa waiver ESTA 2 years ago, and now I'm married to a U.S. citizen. Okay, Lovepreet, you know, as I mentioned earlier, download the marriage green card ebook or guide at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com/ebook. It's going to break down the process. If you didn't receive an NTA to go to immigration court, to be not NTA, if they didn't pick you up or do a removal order for you, you can adjust status, apply for a green card based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, but I need to know more information about both your backgrounds and what you've done to make sure there's no other issues. So download the ebook and then schedule a consultation in my office, and we can take it from there. Ranjit asks, can application fee waiver be applied for OPT EAD? I don't know. I've never tried. I'd have to look into the requirements for that. I don't know. Khalid asks, my friend has only a work permit. He got in August 2019, so you don't have any taxes to pay for that year. I don't know. I'm not an accountant. I can't answer tax questions. But when he gonna apply for work permit again? I don't know, Khalid. I need to talk with your friend. So we're about to reach the end, so I'll take 1 or 2 more questions, but if y'all have it, check out the ebook at www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. I'm John Khosravi. Send me an email to schedule a consultation. It's info@jqqlaw.com. And our last question or two is Shanzi asks, we've been waiting for I-130 interview for 2 years. How long can it take? I don't know, however long it takes to get them call you. You may want to file a lawsuit if it's outside the regular processing times. We have another tax question. Khalid, I don't know about tax. I can't answer that. And so our last question will be, Ishakfe asks, my husband has an individual hearing in March 2021. Do you think he'll postpone that date? I don't know. I can't tell the future. I don't have a crystal ball. Okay, we'll get another question I can have answer to, but I guess that's it. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow on TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John. Recordings on YouTube, and we'll be on YouTube Live actually tomorrow, Wednesday, September 9th, to talk with y'all about U.S. immigration, answer questions. We had non-stop questions today. It was pretty fun. I like it when it's just bam, 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 and hopefully you got some good information out there to help you all out. But the best thing to do is just consult with an attorney in private to get some individual legal guidance. Thanks again, everyone. Be safe. God bless. Bye-bye.